4 billion years ago, Earth was barren with no signs of life. On that day, a huge alien spacecraft landed on Earth's surface. They had a man drink a black liquid and then left Earth. Subsequently, the man's body decomposed, and his DNA recombined to become the origin of life on Earth. Billions of years passed, and early humans began to take shape. When the aliens visited Earth again, they found that early humans looked very similar to themselves, so they helped them develop civilization and displayed the location of their homeland on stone walls. By 2089, two archaeological doctors discovered that the coordinates on the murals actually existed, so they named the planet LV-233 and called the aliens engineers. In 2094, the Prometheus, funded by the Weyland Corporation, went to the planet LV-233, where they discovered a large spaceship left by the engineers and their secret weapon, the black liquid. This liquid was highly active. Once infected, a life form would mutate rapidly. However, the threat of the black liquid was far from over. When combined with different organisms, it would evolve into entirely different species. Human explorers were slaughtered by alien creatures, leaving only David, a synthetic human made by humans, who was fascinated by these creatures. Using the black liquid, he killed all the engineers and then studied the evolution of the aliens in seclusion on their home planet LV-426. By 2104, a ship carrying 2,000 colonists, the Covenant, passed by and discovered him. David used a ruse to successfully escape aboard the Covenant. 18 years later, after 2 failed attempts, the Weyland Corporation shifted its focus from space colonization to resource extraction. The scene shifts to space, where a cargo ship called the Nostromo, carrying 7 crew members and 20 million tons of ore, is on its way back home. Due to the long journey, all the crew members have entered hibernation. In this silent darkness, the central control system, Mother, suddenly receives a mysterious signal. According to regulations, whenever an abnormal signal is received, the crew must be awakened. Soon, all 7 crew members are awakened from hibernation, thinking they were about to reach Earth, so they sit together and discuss their shares. At that moment, the yellow light in the cabin lights up, indicating that Mother has detected an anomaly. The bearded man, the captain of this voyage, goes to the control room to receive the abnormal report. The other crew members also return to their stations, but soon discover a problem. The spaceship has not returned to Earth but has deviated from its original course. The bearded man explains that Mother has received an unidentified signal that repeats every 20 seconds and is very regular. Mother has the authority to approach the source of the signal after receiving it. At this point, a disagreement arises among the crew members. Led by the Old Black, the Interest faction does not want to join in. They are a cargo ship, not a lifeboat, and there is no need to take risks. However, the bearded man cites the clauses in the contract, stating that when a regular communication signal is received, it may indicate the presence of intelligent life, and they must investigate, or else all remuneration will be deducted. Reluctantly, the Old Black agrees to proceed. By tracking the signal source, they discover that the signal is coming from a small asteroid with a diameter of 1,200 kilometers and a gravity 0.86 times that of Earth, where people can walk freely. In fact, this planet is the engineer's home planet LV-426. Although the crew is unaware of its past, after surveying the terrain, the 7 crew members land on the planet's surface in a small spacecraft, with the source of the signal located 2 kilometers to the northeast. 3 crew members volunteer, don their protective suits, and head for the destination. Before long, they discover a giant crescent-shaped spaceship, presumably the source of the signal. To investigate further, the 3 enter the spaceship, which has a very strange overall design, clearly not of Earth origin. They follow the corridor to the cockpit, where, to their disbelief, they find a giant alien corpse in the pilot's seat. Although it has been dead for a long time, it is clear that something has burst out of its chest. They then find a cave under the floor, where the temperature is much higher than outside. To gather more clues, crew member Kane uses a rope to descend to the bottom. The cave is large, with many egg-like containers placed around. He cautiously approaches and discovers that there seems to be a creature moving inside the eggs. At that moment, the egg opens like a flower petal, and before Kane can see what is happening, a facehugger suddenly jumps out and attaches to his oxygen mask. The other 2 crew members, hearing the noise, quickly bring him back to the medical room. The facehugger has already corroded the oxygen mask and firmly grasps Kane's face. But Kane is not dead. Instead, he breathes with the help of the facehugger. Ash tries to pull it off with tweezers, but when the facehugger is subjected to external force, its tail tightens around Kane's neck even more. With no other option, the crew members resort to a second method, cutting the limbs of the facehugger with a knife blade. But to their surprise, the The facehugger's blood is highly corrosive, with just a few drops penetrating 2 layers of the ship's hull, meaning they cannot kill the alien on the spaceship. At night, the crew discovers a very strange phenomenon. The alien originally attached to Kane's face has mysteriously disappeared. This is a highly dangerous creature, and if it lurks within the spaceship, it could be very dangerous. So, the crew members start searching for it. Before long, they find the corpse of the facehugger in a corner. Why would it suddenly die? Why is its blood so corrosive? This creature is full of unknowns, so Ash decides to bring it back to Earth for research. The bearded man orders an immediate return to the Nostromo, as he has had enough of this bizarre planet. The docking goes smoothly, and the Nostromo returns to its return orbit. Just as they are discussing how to deal with Kane miraculously wakes up. His mind seems fine, and his recent experiences feel like a dream. Seeing his condition, everyone relaxes and sits down to eat supper. Perhaps out of happiness or because they haven't eaten in a long time. Kane's appetite is especially good, but the next second, his expression suddenly twists, and then he collapses on the table, convulsing. The crew members quickly hold him down. He was fine just a moment ago. How could he suddenly become like this? But what surprises them is still to come. An alien creature the size of a fist bursts out of Kane's chest and, before anyone can react, it escapes from the room. Everyone is stunned by what they have just witnessed. Where did this creature come from? The old man, an expert in weaponry, quickly makes an electric shock gun and a tracker, then divides the team into 2 groups. If they spot the alien, they will throw it out of the spaceship. The old man, Ripley, and Old Black, armed with trackers, set out. They arrive at the storage room, and the tracker reacts, but when they open the storage cabinet, they find that their pet cat was hiding inside. To confirm whether it was the cat that triggered the tracker, Old Black asks the old man to bring the cat back. When someone acts alone, tragedy often begins. During the search for the cat, the old man finds a shed alien skin, meaning that the lurking alien is no longer the small creature it once was. Although the old man is completely unaware, just as he finds the cat, a monster larger than himself suddenly appears and drags him into the ventilation duct. Hearing the screams, the other 2 rush in, but only bloodstains remain at the scene. The crew does not know what species this is, but one thing is certain, it is very large. Conventional electric shock guns only enrage it, so the bearded man has Old Black make several flamethrowers. Creatures generally fear fire, and the space in the ventilation ducts is narrow. As long as they can pinpoint its location, they should be able to eliminate it. Next, the bearded man devises a battle plan. He has the crew members monitor the alien's position from the outside, while he enters the ventilation ducts with a flamethrower. However, the alien is much smarter than anticipated, constantly changing its position in the ducts, making it difficult to predict where it will emerge. At this point, the bearded man also realizes the danger, but it is too late to run. The alien suddenly appears behind him, and the bearded man's communication also disappears. Old Black takes a risk and searches the ducts, eventually finding only the flamethrower. Without even a drop of blood, from the original 7-member team, only 4 remain, and those who are mentally fragile have already started to break down. One wants to escape on a space shuttle, at least to avoid being eaten by the monster, but her proposal is opposed by Ripley. The space shuttle cannot accommodate 4 people, and even if they escape the monster, it is still uncertain whether they can survive in space. Ripley then goes to the control room, wanting to ask Mother for a better way, but when she raises the issue of the alien, Mother replies that only the scientist Ash can access the 937 Special Directive. Ripley then inputs Ash's identity code and asks what the 937 Special Directive is. Mother states that the primary task of the directive is to bring back alien life samples for research, and everything else can be abandoned, including the lives of the crew members. Ripley immediately understands that the change of course to LV-426 was all a conspiracy by the Wayland Corporation, aimed at bringing alien life forms back to Earth. At this moment, Ash suddenly appears beside Ripley. Since someone has discovered the secret, he cannot let her leave alive. Just as he prepares to kill Ripley, Old Black and Lambert arrive in time. During the struggle, Ash's head is chopped off, and only then do people realize that Ash is a synthetic human, which explains why he so strictly obeys orders. But they cannot kill Ash yet, as only he knows how to eliminate the alien. After a simple repair, Ash is reconnected. Ripley asks him what the alien's weakness is. There must be a way to kill it. Ash states, the alien is a perfect organic entity. Its structure and attack power are extraordinary, and you few people simply cannot survive. Ripley does not want to listen to his nonsense and pulls out his wires. The 3 are driven to desperation. a direct confrontation with the alien is definitely not going to work, so they decide to initiate the self-destruct program of the Nostromo and then escape on the space shuttle. It will take at least 10 months to return to Earth from here, and they must take enough cryogen to cope with the upcoming hibernation. The three act separately. Ripley goes to start the spaceship, while Old Black and Lambert go to get the cryogen. However, the two make too much noise and quickly attract the alien. At this moment, we finally see the full appearance of the monster. It is entirely black, with a scorpion-like long tail and a metallic hard shell, standing over 2 meters tall. Hearing the screams, Ripley quickly grabs her weapon to help, but along the way, the voices of the two stop abruptly. Clearly, Old Black and Lambert have been killed. Ripley does not dare delay and rushes to the control room to initiate the self-destruct program. In 10 minutes, the spaceship will explode. Ripley does not dare to return the same way and must sneak back to the space shuttle through the lower deck. But along the way, she discovers a surprising scene. The alien has built a nest in the lower deck, and all the missing crew members have been dragged here. The bearded man is barely alive and begs Ripley to kill him. Ripley cannot bear to see him suffer, so she takes up the flamethrower and burns the entire nest. Then, Ripley returns to the space shuttle, but to her surprise, the alien has ambushed the cockpit. At this moment, Ripley's last resort is to cancel the main ship's self-destruct system, then eject the space shuttle carrying the alien into space. The alien, after all, is an organic entity and cannot survive in space. But to her despair, 5 minutes after initiating the self-destruct program, the command cannot be withdrawn, and the Nostromo will self-destruct in 5 minutes. With no way out, Ripley returns to the space shuttle, and killing the alien is her only chance to survive. Fortunately, the alien is not in the cockpit. Perhaps it went back to the main ship to look for the protagonist. For Ripley, this is a rare opportunity, so she starts the shuttle and detaches from the Nostromo. With an explosion, the Nostromo is blown into cosmic dust, and Ripley's hanging heart finally settles down. But just as she changes her clothes and prepares to enter hibernation, an alien arm suddenly reaches out in front of her. It turns out that the alien did not return to the Nostromo but was hiding in the ducts of the pipeline. Taking advantage of it not being fully emerged, Ripley hides in a corner and quietly puts on a spacesuit. She seems to have a way to deal with the alien. After everything is ready, Ripley goes to the driver's seat and then ties the safety belt to herself. She hopes to use the suction created by opening the hatch to suck the alien into space. Just as the monster pounces on her, Ripley decisively opens the hatch. However, the alien uses its strong arms to grasp the sides of the hatch. Ripley does not give it any chance and takes up the harpoon gun to shoot it into space. Approaching, Ripley starts the spaceship engine and blasts the alien into the depths of space. The battle finally ends with a human victory. Before entering hibernation, Ripley records an audio report detailing the sacrifice of the crew members and the destruction of the Nostromo, hoping that when people receive the report, they can bring her back to Earth.